Good morning to all of you. My dear friends, students, please take care of self and the family members during this lockdown period. Fight COVID 19, follow Indian government advisory, and help the poor, respect the COVID warriors, media personals, doctors, and all police forces, armed forces, whoever is involved, and striving to fight COVID 19. I know that we are facing a lot of problems in teaching learning process too. On your request, here comes for you the poem Our Casuarina Tree. This poem is written by Toruduth. Toruduth was born on 1856 and she expired on 1877. She was a famous Indian poet and author of English and French. Early in her childhood, she traveled abroad. She was educated in France and England. She returned to India in the early 1870s and took to learning Sanskrit. She earned fame for her literary activities. In spite of her premature death, she published in 1876 A Sheaf Gleaned in French Fields, with translation in English of some 70 to 18 French poems. Another famous work of Toruduth is Ancient Ballads and Legends of Hindustan. Early she came under the influence of English romantic poets. Her famous lyrics includes Lakshman, Sita, Our Casuarina Tree. The poem Our Casuarina Tree is an objective description. The poem is an objective description of Casuarina Tree. The poetess records her own impressions of the tree at different times of the day. This reminds her of her lost brother Abju and sister Aru, with whom she used to play under the tree. She humanizes the tree, and through a long, mournful dirge like murmur, the tree seems to share her sorrow. The lament of the tree attains universality and becomes a record of the pain of human race. In the end, the poetess prays for the immortality of the tree. She is confident that her love would defend it from oblivion curse. My dear friends, K.R. Srinivas Iyengar, in Indian Writing English, has written very nicely about Toruduth, her family, and friends. K.R. Srinivas Iyengar writes, she had a rich and respectable ancestry. The Dutt's were important people in Calcutta. Her father, Govind Chandra Dutt, was well to do, a good linguist and a cultured man with literary leanings and generous impulses. Her mother was steeped in the Hindu myths and was a woman of loving and sweet disposition. Her mother was steeped in Hindu myths and was a woman of loving and sweet disposition. Like the younger man of the time, the Dutch too were attracted by the glamour of the West and the Gospels of the Christ. And in a body, some members of the family embraced Christianity in 1862. Torudat was then 6 years old. She was born on 4 March 1856. Her elder brother Aru was 8 and their brother Abju was 11. It is clear that the change of faith caused a temporary estrangement between the parents, as may be inferred from Govind Chand Dutt's poem addressed to his wife. Govind Chand Dutt, Torudat's father, wrote, Nay, part not so one moment stay. Nay, part not so soon one moment stay. Repel me not with scorn like others. Wilt thou turn away? Like others, wilt thou turn away and leave me quite forlorn? Wilt thou to join the scoffing crowd, the cold, the heartless, and the proud, who curse the hallowed, mourn when darling idols to disown? I knelt before the Saviour's throne. My dear friends, Govind Chandra wrote about his children also. To return to the children, Abju Arvind Tharu, he writes about his son. My son, the most loving is my eldest, and I love him the most. Almost a man in seeming, yet a child. Govind Chandra wrote about his daughter Aru. My next, the beauty of our home is meek, not so deep, loving, happily, but less wild than her dear brother brow and blushing cheek, her nature so serene and pure and mild as evening's early star. Govind Chandra wrote about his youngest daughter, Taurudat. Try to understand this, that the father is writing about the daughter, my puny and elf-like. About Taurudat he is writing, puny and elf-like with disheveled tresses, self-willed and shy, never heeding that I call, intent to pay her tenderest addresses, to bird and cat, but most intelligent. But most intelligent. But our Casuarina tree, in more than the poetic evocation of a tree, it is recapturing the past and immortalizing the moments of time so recaptured. The tree is both tree and symbol, and in it are implicated both time and eternity. Here comes the poem, Our Casuarina Tree. Like a huge python winding round and round, the rugged trunk indented deep with the scars, up to its very summit near the stars, a creeper climbs in whose embrace is bound. No other trees could live, but gallantly the giant wears a scarf, and flowers are hung in crimson clusters, all the bug amongst, all the bug amongst. All the bugs among whereon all day are gathered bird and bee, and oft at nights the garden overflows with one sweet song that seems to have no close, sung darkling from our tree, while man repose. When first, see how the Torah is saying, and why is it saying so? Try to understand. When first my casement is wide open thrown at dawn, my eyes delighted on its rest, sometimes and most in winter on its crest. A grey baboon sits statue like alone. A grey baboon sits statue like alone, watching the sun rise, while all lower bugs his puny offsprings leap about the play. Imagine, think, analyze. Previously, Father Govind Chandra Dutt wrote about the daughter, my puny elf like. Now the daughter is writing in her poem, the father wrote in a poem about the daughter, my puny elf like. Now the daughter is writing, a grey baboon sits statue like alone, and his puny offsprings leap about the play, and far and near cockylas hails the day, and to their pastures wend our sleepy cows, and in the shadow on the broad tank cast, by that hoar tree so beautiful and vast, the water lilies spring like snow and mast, but not because of its magnificence. But not because of its magnificence, dear is the Casuarina to my soul. But not because of its magnificence, dear is the Casuarina to my soul. Beneath it we have played, thou ears may roll, O sweet companions, O sweet companions. Who are the sweet companions of Jew and Aru, the brother and sisters of Tarudat? O sweet companions, loved with love intense, for your sake shall the tree be ever dear. For your sake, the tree shall, for your sake shall the tree be ever dear, bland with your images. It shall arise in memory till the hot tears blind mine eyes. What is the dirge like murmur that I hear, like the sea breaking on a single beach? It is the tree's lament. It is the tree's lament and eerie speech that haply to the unknown land may reach. It is tree's lament and eerie speech that haply to the unknown land may reach, unknown yet well known to eye of faith. Unknown yet well known to eye of faith. Ah, I have heard that wail far, far away in distant lands by many a sheltered bay, when slumbered in his cave the water rat, and the waves gently kiss the classic shore of France or Italy beneath the moon. When earth lay tranced a dreamless swoon, and all the time the music rose before mine in a vision, rose a foam sublime. Thy form, O tree, as in my happier prime, I saw thee in my own loved native clime. But we don't find any Casuarina tree in West Bengal. See it saying, thy form, O tree, as in my happier prime, I saw thee in my own loved native clime. That means who was seen in West Bengal by the poetess. Therefore, therefore I fain would consecrate a lay. Why the daughter will consecrate a lay in the honor of the brother and the sister? Were the parents not able to do that? Therefore I fain would consecrate a lay unto thy honor, tree beloved of those who now in bliss live, for I repose, dearer than life to me, dearer than life to me. Alas, were they, mayest thou be numbered when my days are done with deathless trees like those in Borodale, under whose awful branches lingered pale fear, trembling, hope, and death, the skeleton, and time, the shadow, and thou weak the verse that would thy beauty fain, oh, fain rehearse, may love defend thee from oblivion curse, may love defend thee from the oblivion curse. My dear student, the first stanza is an objective description of the tree. The second relates to the tree to Thorodot's own impressions of it at different times. The third links up the tree with Thorodot's memory of her lost brother and sister. The fourth stanza humanizes the tree, for its lament is a human recordation of pain and regret. And the last stanza will, as it were, the immortality of the tree. The 11 line stanza formed with the rhyme schemes A, B, B, A, C, D, D, C, E, E, E is worthy of Keats himself. In the organization of the poem as a whole and in the finish of the individual stanzas, in its mastery of phrase and rhythm, in its music of sound and ideas, our Casuarina Tree is a superb piece of writing and gives us a taste of what Thoreau might have done had not the race of her life been so quickly run. There were few poetic glories, say Amarnath Jha, which given maturity she could not have achieved, but speculation and promise apart Thoreau's actual record as a poet does compel recognition. And Mr. H. A. L. Fisher is no more than just when he writes, the child of the green valley of the Ganges has, by sheer force of native genius, earned for himself herself the right to be enrolled in the great fellowship of English poet. Casuarina tree, an oak-like tree in Australia, python, a snake, rugged, rough and old, indented deep, thrust deep in the trunk, scars, wound like cuts in the body, bound and circles gallantly, like a brave, courteous, gallant knight, giant, grandiose tree, wears the scarf, idiomatic, keeps up its glory and dignity, survives. Flowers are hung as a mark of victory, wears the garland, cluster bunch of flowers, overflows resound with no clause unending, darkling when it is growing dark, repose, rest, casement, window, rest, feel soothed and looking at something, crest, summit, highest point of branches, baboon, a short-tailed monkey, puny offspring, tiny young ones, hail, greet by singing, wend, make their way, sleepy, drowsy, half awakened, shadow of casuarinas falling on the surface of the tank. Cast, shadow thrown by the tree, hoar, old and grey, water lilies, tiny, tiny lily flowers of white color, and massed white lily flowers look like congealed snow. We have played reminiscences of her brother Abju and sister Aru. Roll passes away with time, sweet companions. Again she addresses her brother Abju and sister Aru. Love intense, deep affection, blended, mingled. Images of Aru and Abju revived in the memory. Does like murmur, allergic, soft on, a state of reverie. Shingle, pebbles, trees lament. Casuarina is animated and she feels as if the tree is mourning the death of Aru and Abju. Eerie speech as inspiring morning song, happily, possibly, well, morning of the tree of the Aru and the Abju. Standing on sea beaches in England and France, covered with shadowy trees, slumbered sleeping, water rat, sea god, trance a stage of magic spell, dreamless, undisturbed by dreams, swoon, trance like sleep, in a vision, memory, a form sublime, noble image of the tree, happy prime, childhood, the most glorious period of life, native clime, Indian land, fain, gladly, happily, joyfully, consecrate, lay, compose a sacred verse, or do some religious ritual rites, those Abju and Aru blast sleep, heavenly sleep, for a forever, eternally numbered, counted here survive. Borodale, a valley in south of England, lingered, used to live, pale as a spirit in ghostly state, trembling in a state of uncertainty, the skeleton, death represented by skeletons, time the shadow, time in abstract form, time is not tangible. Rehearse, narrate, tell, consecrate, oblivion curse, all things on earth are cursed to die and be forgotten, but the tree be spared from the curse. It may be immortalized in her song, but indirectly it is not for the tree, it is for the Abju and the Aru that they have been away from the oblivion curse. My dear students, pay attention to this line. Like a huge python. So it's a simile has been used. That means he's comparing somebody with like a huge python winding round and round. The rugged trunk indented deep with scars. So it may be taken up that as if uh, Shwanalata in Bangla, which is known as the golden color creeper, which climb on the tree. That golden creeper is climbing on the tree and she's comparing that like a huge python winding round and round. But here, the symbolical meaning may be other one also, which is because we know the poetry, it's a romantic poetry, and the human emotions are uh, sad, like William Wordsworth is also saying, P.B. Shelley is also saying in his poem, To a Skylark, Hail to thee, O blithe spirit, bird thou never wert, thou were a spirit. So hail means welcome to you, a dear O blithe spirit. And I'm not writing about a bird, I'm writing about Mary Godwin, who has come from Great Britain to Laghorn district of Italy. He has welcomed to the Mary Godwin in that poem. So same way, something like that may be over here also. Like a huge python winding round and round, the rugged trunk indented deep with the scars. So that's he's talking about the rugged trunk, that the branches are the uh, rugged trunk, and because of that one, scars has taken place. And then she's saying, a creeper climbs in his whose embraces. A creeper climbs in whose embraces upon no other tree could live, but gallantly the giant wears the scarf. So who wears the scarf? What we personally find, okay, fine, a tree, but a tree can wear the scarf, but the branches or the leaves looks like the scarf of the tree, which the branches. But it's not this tree that which he is the scarf. It's the father, the bishops, who wears the scarf in the church, because I have already interacted about you that they were in West Bengal, they're in Calcutta, and they were well to do, and they converted from Hinduism to the Christianity. And there, the father wears a scarf, the giant wears a scarf, and flowers are hung. Even in that scarf of the bishops or the father cap, we find the crimson colors. That clungy kind of thing is there on his scarf. The giant wear the scarfs, and flowers are hung in crimson clusters, all the bugs among, whereon all day are gathered bird and bee. But people keep on coming to the church. And the same way on the tree also, the bird and the bee keep on coming. And oft at night, it's a very important over here. And oft at night the garden overflows with one sweet song that seems to have no close. So who keep on singing throughout the night? Is it the nightingale, the bird nightingale who keep on singing? Or it's somebody else's who keep on singing? Song darkling from our trees while man repose, when everybody sleeps, then she keep on singing. And in the morning, when she gets up early in the morning and she opens her windows for the fresh air, she says, when first my casement is wide, often thrown it down, my eyes delighted on its rest. Sometimes and most in winter. But why only in winter? So who is looking during the winter season for the sun warmth? And why? On its crest a grey baboon